Okay, what I'm going to do here is just kind of maybe give you some insight into my own thought process when I look at an unfamiliar essay question. So we're just going to go over here and pick any essay at all. All right, so here's one, okay. And here's a nice 7-mark one. Describe with examples how human population growth affects the world's freshwater resources. Okay, so I'm going to go over to a blank document here, and so discuss with examples how the world's population affects the world's freshwater resources. Okay, so first of all, I'm thinking population. And population is quite high and increasing. So high population puts pressure on water resources. Okay, now what just occurs to me is, are we looking at freshwater or saltwater or both? Can I do both? Freshwater only, okay. So I'm thinking rivers. All right, if I think rivers, I think of the Mekong and the hydro dams that are on there. So also I know about the Colorado River. And basically the river doesn't even reach the ocean anymore because so much water is diverted for agriculture. So agriculture. And for Mekong it will be hydro dams. So now I've got two examples. High population pressure. I mean, I can also just talk about, the stuff we did on the Chao Phraya, right? Chao Phraya River. So like I might talk about litter. We saw a lot of litter out there, and pollution and eutrophication, because we measured the... So I've gone now from looking at a question that I thought I didn't know anything about, or I didn't really know how to answer, to be honest, when I first looked at it. But as soon as I start breaking it up, I realize I do actually know quite a bit. So I think I probably plan my essay now by opening up with the world's population to show I know something about that. Okay, recently reached 7 billion. Okay, and then obviously this is putting pressure on all resources, and water being one of them, or fresh water. The fact that water is essential for life. Okay, I really don't need to say more than that. They already know that, and it's not what they're looking for in the answer. So I might get a mark here for kind of talking about this stuff. Now, I'm going to start talking about the different sectors that population might affect. So with increasing population, will equal increased demand for power. And now I'm going to link that to hydroelectric dams. I wouldn't expect you to write out an entire summary like this, but I don't want to sit and write the essay in front of you. It would be boring for you. I would be writing this as I went, as an essay, so I would be writing. Okay, let's just erase that. Okay, so increased demand for power, hydroelectric dams. Now it doesn't say evaluate, does it? It's not evaluating, it's describing. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about the fact that overconsumption can also affect this need for power. It's just people need electricity. So I'm going to mention the Mekong. I'm going to mention the fact that the dams provide power for cities, and that but also villages, because we need power for medicine, for hospitals, for schools. And the pressure, the freshwater pressure there, is that when you've got a dam, so dams block fresh water for biodiversity, and also prevent the populations downstream from getting water. In this case, like Vietnam, Cambodia, quite worried about their access to fresh water if Laos, China, and Thailand install these dams on the Mekong. Right. So now I can also talk about, likewise, the Colorado River. So Colorado River has been dammed. And but doesn't even reach the sea, I could say that. But here I'm going to talk about diversions for agriculture. And irrigation. Okay, and then I can lead on from there. So in turn, agriculture impacts fresh water by polluting with fertilizers. I want to link back to population with every point. So more population means more food. So more agriculture, more fertilizers, more eutrophication. Once we have eutrophication, we've got impacts to biodiversity, and we've got impacts to people being able to use and drink that water, which is toxic. For example, the toxicity of the Great Lakes. From the excess nitrogens. All right, and then what else did I say? The Chao Phraya. Okay, so I could go on now to talk about another example of like eutrophication. So now I'm linking it again to eutrophication in the Chao Phraya, and especially the surrounding klongs, and that's caused by dense population. Okay, in this case, we're thinking more about the phosphates, perhaps washing, sewage, things like that that are being emptied into the Chao Phraya and polluting them. That would probably be enough for 9 or more marks, and they're only asking for 7 marks. So you can see that as I go, some of the examples started to jump out at me, but I kind of started with this structure. Okay, so you can see how you get on with something similar.